Welcome back to Leah's Leaves. Look how well my tiny Tim tomatoes are doing in February. I'm so excited to find this compact, container-friendly dwarf variety of tomatoes because I can have tomatoes all year round, knowing that the small ones can be grown indoors under lights or in the windowsill, and regular tomatoes will go out. And I'll start seeding those in about 2 weeks. Been busy seed starting this week. I have some ornamental kale and solar flare lettuce in the top tier of this stackable planter. And then the bottom, what did I put on the other side? This one has, oh, I remember, it's orchid cream nasturtium and dwarf jewel mix nasturtium. Under these whiter lights, I have some Chinese broccoli, red romaine, and an iceberg lettuce in the front left. In the back left, rosemary and Russian tarragon. You can't start French tarragon from seed, but you can start Russian tarragon. They don't taste quite the same, but I don't mind the Russian tarragon taste. In this one in the front, you can see chamomile, lemon balm, and oregano. And so far the oregano has sprouted. And then in the back too, some Bloomsdale spinach on the left in the clamshell, and some wasabi arugula on the right. And then this is what I was busy with yesterday. Mwahaha. Tons and tons of plants. 72 cell trays, germinating seeds. Under this empty dish with all this stuff piled on it is actually a tray of microgreens growing under there. They were just potted up last night, so they'll be a couple days before they germinate. They have cherry bell radishes on one half and cress, upland cress, on the other half, also known as peppergrass sometimes. Welcome back. Let me get adjusted here on my piano bench. Today I want to talk about flowers. I haven't spent much time talking about the flowers that are growing in the garden. I've never been a flower grower other than using a few nasturtium and a few marigolds as companion plants and pest resistance. And I did plant a row of zinnias last year because it was a 50-cent box of seed mixed with sawdust or something that you just sprinkle into a trench that I bought for 50 cents at the dollar store. So I went ahead and planted those last year, and they were gorgeous. They were the first true cut flower that I had ever deliberately grown. And around my property, the only other flowering plant that I inherited when I moved in here were a few gladiolus bulbs that have been disrupted in the yard by different home projects, like when the satellite dish was put in, some of them were dug out, and when a different shrub needed to go, it pulled up some of the bulbs. It really didn't have a good place to put them, so I've lost a few. And then I have just a few little patches of daffodils that sprout here and there, and they are, sprout early and then don't last very long. I have managed to, as those were emerging earlier this month, I pulled those out and moved them to different places to add bulbs. But this year I'm really investing in flowers because I'm in the process of trying to beautify my space. I want color all year long, so different flowers that bloom at different times all being put in proximity to each other. And then, as I've mentioned in a previous video, my mom has retired from her teaching career and bought land nearby, and she has a wide open space around where her house has been excavated to plant something. Since some trees were taken out, we need to put things in the ground that will establish quick roots and help to prevent erosion when the spring rains come. She lives on a hillside that's now basically just a pile of dirt. We don't want grass because she's retired. She don't want to mow grass. So that's kind of what got the whole process started. Was in her home building plans on the patio next to her home, she wants to put out a DIY rocket stove heated hot tub. And there's an ideal spot right next to that where it would be a beautiful space for a moon garden. And Botanical Interests at Christmas time had a moon garden package for sale that came in a gift wrapped box of seeds for flowers that are predominantly white or pastel colored, fragrant at night, some bloom at night, some bloom late in the day, some and a variety of layers. So there's some ground cover, some dwarf plants, some mid-sized plants, and some tall plants, and even a vining moonflower that can grow quite tall if you give it a structure to climb. And so that just got our juices kind of flowing creatively about, okay, well, we know where the moon garden is going to go. Maybe something we can do in the deforested area is a wildflower meadow or a sunflower patch that used to be wooded, but there's no woods there now. It's just empty. So there's direct sunlight on a part of the land that we weren't expecting to be sunny. So that kind of is the game changer of what can go in there. Also, because she's living in the woods and will live there, you know, for as long as we can hope. Native perennial plants that we can plant once and then fix them and forget them kind of thing would be great. Maybe some light pruning occasionally, because they will blend nicely into the existing ecosystem. And there are some beautiful woodland plants like Trillium and Jack-in-the-Pulpits and Virginia bluebells who can tolerate the shade and love the under level under a canopy. So those are seeds that we decided to invest in and plant up there as well. Anyway, so that has just sparked this whole creative endeavor of we need to get some flowers planted. The other thing I might have mentioned in a previous video is that our church pavilion, we have an outdoor pavilion and a church building and the parsonage where I live, that the church owns those three structures. And there's one side of the pavilion that's just a big blank wall that faces a side street. And there's nothing of visual interest there. It's just a yard with grass and a big blank wooden wall. So I have gotten permission from the stewards at the church to go ahead and plant some flowers there too, to add some beauty. And I'll concentrate on a variety of bulbs, annuals, and perennials, different that bloom at different times and at different heights, so that we have a long, really pretty side to that building, something for people to enjoy as they're walking by or driving by, and also would serve as a source of more cut flowers. With that being said, I want to show you some of the seeds that we've decided to use and give you a sense of how those will be used. So I'm going to dig into my fancy flower shoebox. One is bachelor buttons. These will just be direct sown. I have a couple of different varieties. I have one that's red and one that's this pink, purple, and white mix, and one that's a red, white, and blue mix. So the white ones will go at my mom's house and probably some of the blue ones as well. And then this multicolored pack will go out by the pavilion, and the rest will go here around my house perimeter. Baby's breath is something that Mom and I know from our childhood, and it grows easily. It's a perennial plant. This is early snowball variety, and I have another one. These used to be alphabetical, but then I dug through them the other day, and they're not alphabetical anymore. So I'll probably find them as we go. Here's the blue bachelor button. Then we're going to plant some cosmos because they're super easy to grow. They're easy for anybody to grow. You find a spot, you pull the weeds around it, and then plant your seeds. Give them a good watering in and let them do the rest of the work. So we have candy stripe cosmos. I got these from Seed Mail Seed Co. Dwarf Dazzler Red Cosmos. This is a dwarf variety, so it's also nice because these will grow about 2 feet tall. The other ones will probably grow closer to 3, maybe even 4 feet tall. So there'll be layers of them and the colors. And I got those from M.I. Gardener, and then these came from Seeds and Such, and these are Lemonade Cosmos. They'll all go out in a few weeks. And then these were, I got a free seed packet from some order a year ago, 2 years ago. That was Cosmos seashells, the seashell variety. And so I grew some of those in a pot, and I saved the seeds from those, so I have them as well. We love columbine. We're planting 2 kinds of columbine. One is Blue Star, and the other one I'll show you when we find it is Harlequin. And both of these will go, a few will go here, most of them will go at my mom's. I have a Coleus rainbow mix. I planted Coleus in my shade garden last year, and they overtook the thing. They were beautiful, but I didn't stay on top of trimming them, and one of them in particular grew like 5 feet tall and branched out 4 feet and sort of overtook everything, killed the thyme. I had a thyme plant under it, just shaded it out completely, and it died. So I will be planting more Coleus. In fact, I sowed some seeds in that tray yesterday, and then some I'll direct sow, so I'll have a continuous harvest, or, you know, bloom. But I'll be, now that I know what to watch for, I'll be a little more careful about paying attention to them. Borage or borage, I've heard people pronounce it differently. This is deer resistant. Some of this will go at my mom's because it's an herb, it's a flowering plant, it's a terrific pollinator, it has a lot of benefits, and it's just really pretty. And I will probably plant one here for my own benefit, just to have one. They're edible flowers too. Blue, sometimes pink flowers, really pretty. Bee balm, and along with this is common milkweed. So I've seeded both of these. Lambada, also known as bee balm, is can be sown indoors like 8 to 10 weeks before your average last frost date. I actually sowed these yesterday. I'm a little ahead of schedule, but I have the space to up pot them and keep them under lights if I need to wait for mid-May when I can put them out. But I'm seeding so many things that I've been fudging on the time a little bit and just giving everything a good head start, knowing that I have space to keep them here if I need to. This is an ornamental amaranth related plant. It's called Amaranthus illumination. I hope you'll look that up. It's beautiful. It looks like an amaranth plant, shorter, but the center leaf nodes produce colored flowers, or colored leaves. So it's like a green plant with a reddish orange center. Canterbury bells, because why not? They're perennial here, and they grow to about 30 inches high. Again, I probably keep 2, maybe 3 of these here at my place, and the rest will go to my mom's. Tiny Tim alyssum. We actually have 3 kinds of alyssum because that hillside will benefit from some sprawling plants that have a creeping habit, and because the moon garden will benefit from having an underlayer beneath the normal flower canopy, just to preserve moisture and keep the bad bugs away and stuff. So we have Tiny Tim. This is a dwarf variety, as if you can get any smaller than a normal alyssum, but somehow somebody managed it. They only grow to a few inches high. Yeah, they're very small. They're also great for filling in baskets, hanging baskets or display baskets. And then we have regular, the one that most people are used to, Alyssum carpet of snow. That's the most common one. And then we have this beautiful one, gold dust. that is perennial in my zone. And so this was a tremendous benefit to my mom's place. And then I'll put a little bit around the borders, right in front of my raised beds. I'll put a layer of this on the ground along with some creeping thyme, just to kind of fill in where the Bermuda grass has been solarized with cardboard and mulch, newspaper. All of that's layered out there, killing what's underneath it. So we have to kind of rejuvenate the soil. And this is a good way to do that. Okay, daisies. I'm so excited about these. And I have a few kinds of daisies. Let me see if I find. I just had these out yesterday. Well, I thought they'd be easy to get hold of. Okay, oh, here it is. I was about to say I'll show you when I find it. Shasta daisies, the Alaska daisy, perennial in our zone, and they grow nice and tall. And then Silver Princess Shasta daisies. I got these from Crossman Seeds, which is a company I learned about from the City Stead in one of his seed company spotlights. This is a dwarf variety daisy. So great border plant, and it still produces some lovely cut flowers, but with small, shorter stems. So if you're making arrangements, you can cut them at length. And they just grow like a foot and a half at the most. So I'm going to interplant those with each other and use the Silver Princess daisy around as a border. Lavender hyssop, I have not decided yet. I'm leaning against planting this year. It's also called licorice mint, just because we're getting into the part where we probably have enough plants planned. But later in the season, or definitely next season, we can add this to the places that we're growing. Same with the delphinium. I love delphinium. I got these lilac spire delphiniums from Seed Mail Seed Co. I'm actually going to hold on to these until next year. Mountain Valley Seed Co. I got some digitalis. We are going to plant these this year at Mom's, just at Mom's. They won't bloom this year. They'll grow this year and then they'll bloom their second year. But they're perennial in this zone as well. We love forget-me-nots. This is an annual. This is firmament. So it's this beautiful, like deep sky blue. And they'll grow 1 to 2 feet tall. So it's kind of a mid-range height, but the color is really pretty. And they're they're easy to grow. Larkspur, definitely growing some of these. These are beautiful, and they grow as an annual, but they are very easy to grow here. These will grow up to 4 feet high. So these are one of the taller column plants that will grow toward the back of each bed and just add a big tall splash of color along the wall. I have already sown these, by the way. These and snapdragons in a winter sowing method. So these are growing in jugs outside. So are the Alaska daisies. Now we have a bunch of marigolds. This Kilimanjaro white African marigold is going in the moon garden at Mom's. This is a petite yellow. This is a dwarf variety, but pure yellow color. Different from the ones I grew last year. Last year I grew Hot Pack Spry, which is a dwarf French variety that is orange and red and yellow all mixed together. Really, really beautiful pop of color. But I liked the idea of having a solid color mixed in with those. Kind of avoid color overload and just have something solid to focus on, and then a pop of color and then others. So these will get alternated with the other. These are the seeds. I saved 1 million of these. So if you are watching this video and you happen to be interested in a heat-tolerant, extra dwarf, crested French marigold that can grow in sun or part shade, called Hot Pack Spry, just leave me a comment or email me at leahsleaves@gmail.com and tell me what your address is, and I'll send you some. Because I have plenty. I have like 3 bags of these. They were crazy easy to save seeds from, by the way. If you've never saved seeds from marigolds, that's an easy thing to do. Watermelon Heaven California poppies. Beautiful. I've shown you these before in a seed haul video. These can just be scattered. They grow just as easily as the Cosmos and some other really easy blooms. I have a spot around a shrub next to the sunbed where most of my sun-loving plants go. And I'm just going to sprinkle these all around the perimeter of that shrub and let a whole ring of these watermelon poppies grow up around it. Super. And I can plant those right now, February, right now, and they'll grow fine. They're a cool, tolerant plant. Lots of sunflowers. Busy bee sunflower. The sunflowers you'll see range from very tall to very, very small. We have dwarf varieties. We have tall varieties. My mom has space for the mammoth ones, and my friend Judy let me save seeds from her mammoth last year, so I didn't have to buy those. The ones that I'm growing out along the pavilion and by my propane tank, because who wants to look at a propane tank in the middle of summer, will be these dwarf varieties. So this one grows 4 or 5 feet. Lemon Queen, this will go with Mom's moon garden. And how tall do they grow? I think they grow about 4 or 5 feet as well. It doesn't say here, 5 to 7 feet. There it says on the front. So that could be maybe a little taller. Evening Colors, sunflowers, beautiful mix. These grow taller yet, 6 to 7 feet. Mammoth seeds. Sunspot Dwarf, this one will only grow a few feet. Vanilla Ice Sunflower. These are beautiful. They grow about 5 feet tall. Those will go in the moon garden as well. Those pale. And then the Sunflower Velvet Queen. They grow to about 5 feet. So I'll have anywhere from like 3 or 4 all the way up to 6 or 7 feet high. Couple cold tolerant plants that are great to start using the winter sowing method. Knee-high sweet peas. And those are seeded outside right now in the process of slow germination. White Trillium. I got both of these from Everwild Farms, which by the way have the greatest packaging in the world. And it takes them a couple years to grow. So they develop slowly. They might not bloom till the 4th or 5th year. So you're kind of investing in your landscape. But these grow naturally in the woods. So that's what we're aiming for. The perimeter of my mother's woods, where it stays a little shaded, a little more damp, and the ambient temperature is generally stable. And it's broken up, the wind breaks because of the trees. So that's a good place to plant those. Nasturtium, I had a couple of different kinds. I seeded these yesterday, night and day nasturtium. Aren't those beautiful? And these ones grow about 1 foot tall. And then there's some others here. Orchid Cream from Baker Creek. And Dwarf Jewel Mix, which is your standard multicolor, small, compact version of nasturtium. I'm growing all 3, just different places. Corner of the beds, for example. It's a great trap plant that will attract the aphids and other bugs that you don't want on your vegetable crops. The flowers are edible, the leaves are edible, they're beautiful. Some vine, some have a bushing habit, vining habit, or they just kind of spill over, but they don't grow huge. So I have a little bit of each. Some standard yellow California poppies, in addition to those Watermelon Heaven ones. Dusty Miller, this came in the Moon Garden gift set from Botanical Interest, and this is one of my mom's favorite decorative plants. I seeded some of these yesterday in the tray. These can also be, these are a tender perennial, usually grown as an annual. If you live in a warmer climate, you can grow these as a perennial. I have a couple of rudbeckias. Rudbeckia is related to and looks a lot like black-eyed Susans, different kinds of black-eyed Susans. And this one is a multicolor mix called Chim Chimney. I got these from Petra and Matthew over at Fruition Seeds. And then from True Love Seeds, I got this Campfire Rudbeckia that has like a deep burgundy color and orange. I've seeded both of those. The Rudbeckia is also good for winter sowing method. Straw flowers, I planted some of these yesterday. These are the apricot peach straw flowers, also from Fruition Seeds. And Johnny Jump Ups. We never called them violas or violas. We always just called them Johnny Jump Ups. But I grew up around these. They grew, my grandma grew them. And they're another frost tolerant plant. And I seeded some of these already indoors. And I'm going to put some in containers in the winter sowing method as well. The more I can winter sow in those jugs, the less space I take up under my grow lights. This is from Park Seeds. I got Strawberry Fields Gomphrena. Gomphrena is a flower with a straight stem and then a little poofy strawberry shaped bulb at the top of it, like a little spiky cotton looking flower. It's hard to describe, but they're really beautiful. And I love the color red in this particular shade, so I went ahead and got the Strawberry Fields variety. They're excellent in cut flower arrangements. They're just cute plants, and they add a boop, little pop of color at the top. Some yarrow. Yellow yarrow, these are seeds I saved from one that I grew last year that I had bought at a nursery. And this one is a beautiful ombre summer berries yarrow. These are resilient and perennials. They have medicinal properties, and they look great in both fresh and dried arrangements. They make excellent dried flowers. And they can tolerate part shade as well. A lot of flowers prefer the sun, but they don't mind a little bit of shade. Night Scented Stock. These I bought to add to the moon garden and to plant out in front of my porch, so that at night when I'm sitting on my porch swing, I have something fragrant nearby. They are mixed lilac, purple, pink, and white blooms. And they grow in a foot, foot and a half tall. They're not very tall. So I can put those larkspur, snapdragons, gladiolus bulbs, maybe, the name just escaped me. I had a snapdragon, larkspur, the digitalis, something that grows taller in behind this, and then this would be a good mid-level plant, and then maybe some alyssum on the ground below it. Nicotiana, Indian peace pipe, fragrant, beautiful. We're growing this at Mom's moon garden. And Orlea, it's a very delicate looking plate. It's sometimes called white lace. Here are the snapdragons that I'm growing. And here's that moonflower I was telling you about. I had never seen a moonflower until I took my last job in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and my first landlady had a garden and beautiful landscaping around her house, and she had an enormous moonflower that I don't even think it was on a structure. It had just kind of bushed out. She trimmed it back every year and it bushed. So it had the vining habit, but it had been trimmed and pruned enough that it had bushed out very high. It was probably 5 feet high and probably about that wide. And every night, it only took between 30 seconds and 3 minutes to watch the bloom pop open. You can see it in real time. It's really cool. And on a full moon, that was especially fun because they glow in the dark. So I'm very excited about these. Keep in mind, if you have pets or children, a lot of the plant is poisonous. So plant with caution. These are separate because I'm seeding these today. Pansies. This is a historic pansy mix. This is a mixture closely resembling the original Bambini mixture from Vilmorin Company of Paris. They grow 6 to 8 inches tall, self-seeding, and biennial. So we'll plant these once and forget them, and they'll come back. Coming to the home stretch. Here are those other columbines I mentioned that I've already seeded. Those are the Harlequin. Very pretty. Jack in the Pulpit is growing in sand right now under my grow lights, keeping the sand consistently moist. It'll grow there. It kind of sit there in moist, well-draining sand for 3 months, and then I'm going to stick it in the fridge for 3 months. Because this is one of those rare plants that needs a double dormancy before it finally emerges. So we might not see a plant emerge from the 5 seeds that came from this packet until late this year. And then it would be next year before it has time to grow to maturity and take its shape and begin blooming the flowers. But these grow wild where I came from in Western PA. We saw these all the time. So we like that plant. This is a little bit of Pennsylvania that we're bringing into my mom's woods. I'm so excited about these. I might be the most excited about these because I had such good success with my zinnias last year as a cut flower and as a beautiful border to my raspberry patch. I found these on Crossman Seeds. They're called Thumbelina, and they are dwarf zinnias. Height 6 inches tall. So now I can have tall zinnias in the back and tiny zinnias in the front and all kinds of color in between in my raspberry patch or anywhere else. They're just beautiful. I'm also making a trellis planter. I'm going to link the video below in the description. I hope you'll check it out. It's from Benedict at Grow Veg. He's a great YouTuber, one of my favorites. And he had 3 ideas for growing vertically, and one of them was a beautiful trellis potted plant arrangement. And it just happened that my neighbor Mel was clearing space in her garage and gifted me some old trellising, and some of it I'll use for my peas and cherry tomatoes, but one particular cut can go as a wall display right next to my porch. Hi, Claire. My garden gnome came in. Don't hit the camera stand. Hope you can still see. Anyway, I'm very excited about these Thumbelina zinnias. Loving a mist. You know, I had never seen or heard of these until I was like, Claire, come here. Looking at a seed catalog. Come here, you wanna come here with me? Poached eggplant is another plant that, hi. Come here. I got you. Come up to your spot. That's her spot. There you go. Hi, buddy. Okay. Poached eggplant will go in my mom's woods as well. And it also is one of those that's a slow growing, kind of double stratify. It can tolerate the cold. It self-seeds freely, but if you cut it back after it blooms, before it goes to seed, then you can prevent it from spreading. If you don't, it'll spread. We actually want this plant to spread. We're planting this right along the perimeter of the woods. Nothing else needs to go there, and it'll have plenty of room to go, and it'll just be a beautiful bloom in the underlayer of the forest. These are more forget-me-nots. I don't know what color these are. I got these from Valerie Sayer on Pisces Mountain Farm on Instagram, and Valerie Sayer on YouTube, in a seed swap that was hosted by Nikki Strong from Our Simple Life. But I will grow them because I have them. There's more sweet peas. You saw those already. The Shasta daisies, you saw those already. We're coming into the home stretch. I said that already, didn't I? Several mixes. I have wildflower mixes. Wildflower mix from Dollar Seed, bees, butterflies, beneficial insects mix from Gary Pilarchik at the Rusted Garden. These are all to be able to create the meadow at the top of my mom's bare hill. Lilliput mix of zinnias to complement the ones that I still have left to use last year. Plus I saved seeds. That's another one. I'm loaded with zinnia seeds. So again, if you're watching this video and would like some seeds, just email me at leahsleaves@gmail.com and give me your name and address, and I'll send you some because I have a massive seed haul and I need to share some. These are canna lilies. They're not really a true lily. They're a plant. They're actually a tropical plant, but they grow perennial here. And I saved the seeds are very easy to save. They actually grow by rhizome, but you can grow them from seed too. It just takes longer. If you ever get hold of a canna plant that's already started, it means that the rhizome has already mature and producing a plant. So you can grow it either way. And then, like a lot of rhizome plants, or all rhizome plants, you can divide them every couple or 3 years and spread them out or thin them out, and they'll just keep going and keep growing. So these are seeds. This one's red. I also have some seeds from a pink one. The red one is growing along the pavilion on a different wall, and the pink one I got from my neighbor. They're really pretty plants. Pink zinnias from Nikki Strong, she sent in the seed swap. More baby's breath. This is a different version, Covent Garden. These grow a little taller. They're about 1.5 feet tall. Dwarf Plains Coreopsis. I'm also very excited about these. This was another flower like the Lebanomist I had never seen before until this year shopping for seeds. And I saw it and I was like, that needs to go in my yard. I got some other Lebanomist in that seed swap, but the package doesn't say from whom. But whoever you were, thank you for that. I'm excited about these two things. This is purple coneflower or purple echinacea, and this is red echinacea. These came from Dollar Seed and these came from Botanical Interest. I am growing both mixed. So I've already seeded these and I just mixed the seeds together in my hand, sprinkled them in a jug, and they're growing in the winter sowing method. They are medicinal and beautiful and great pollinators. I'm also excited. I don't know why I get all excited about the dwarf varieties. This looks like, it resembles the Coreopsis, but I got it from Crossman Seeds. It's a dainty marigold. It's a dwarf French single variety. I only had doubles so far, so this is a single leaf, and I just think that's absolutely pretty. Grows to 1 foot. I think too, because I know that right now my landscape is just big. It's just big stuff. I inherited several large shrubs, bushes, trees, tall, a big hydrangea. It's a healthy hydrangea. It's going to grow great, but it's big. And behind that was a butterfly weed that is invasive to, not the same, the milkweed or the butterfly, the bee balm that I showed you. But this particular plant is invasive and non-native to my area, so I'm trying to get it out. It's grown so close to the house that the roots are near the foundation and they're difficult to get at right now. I'm worried that they'll cause some structural problems later if it's not dealt with. But I have all these big bulky plants, but nothing small and dainty and nothing colorful. That even the hydrangea is not a pure red or a pure blue. It's kind of a faded color. I don't know anything about the variety or whatever. So I want to correct that. And I think that's why I'm so interested in the border plants. Between border plants and herbs with a creeping habit, like sweet marjoram and thyme and oregano, those are other plants that I will put out as border plants. They're great companion plants. They are great at pest resistance. They're beautiful when they're flowering. I'll save seeds from them, and then I never have to buy herb seeds again. I'll cook with them because I use my fresh herbs in my cooking. I think it's just a win. So I plan to make good use of these very small dwarf varieties. Here's the birds, bees, and butterfly wildflower mix from Gary Pilarczyk. This will be used at my mom's place. Some creeping thyme flower seeds. I can't remember if these came from Little Shop of Seeds or where. Seedville, USA. This was the seed order I was waiting for like 8 weeks because the USPS had lost it, or it was stranded in Maryland for a long time. It came. Look how, I don't know if you can even see those seeds. They are teeny tiny, but they grow to a creeping habit thyme plant, not the culinary thyme, but a vining version that makes excellent ground cover. Fragrant, pretty, low ground cover. So that's an excellent thing. Sweet William, I am not sure I'm going to grow these this year. With all the other options that I have, this one is one that I may give a miss. This is a tall doubles mixed, and this is a tall doubles mixed, but they're two different mixes, and this one's not a, it's a different double. This one's variegated, and this one's plain. Those I just got at local box stores. And then I have some pink ones, just a pink variety from Dollar Seed. The only other seeds that I have are ones that I saved from my zinnias. Morning Glory, I'm not growing a Morning Glory. There's a Morning Glory that keeps reseeding out in my raspberry patch and took over everything, and I couldn't manage it no matter how hard I tried. I hate that thing. And so this year, one of the things I did was go out and cut everything back and save the seeds from it before they had a chance to fall to the ground. I don't know how much of an impact that'll make, but I hope never to see that thing again because that's not where I want it to grow. So if you're interested in some Morning Glory flowers, I don't have many. They're the blue kind. This is just an ordinary one. I have I'm going to guess about 50 seeds there. So email me at leahsleaves@gmail.com. And if you'd like to grow Morning Glory, because I'm not going to grow Morning Glory. My mom's not going to grow Morning Glory. But I have Morning Glory seeds, and you're welcome to them. I have the canna lily seeds. I have 2 packets of the red if you're interested in that. I just have a few of the pink. So I can part with a very small quantity of those, but not much. And I believe that's it. I lied. 1 second. This is the container where I refrigerate the ones that need to go through stratification. I mentioned the bluebells. These are being planted soon. They can be planted in the fall or very early spring. And if not, if it's like mid-spring, you can put these in sand for about 8 to 10 weeks to help them break dormancy and keep them cold. So these would actually be fine as a winter sowing, because that's the whole purpose of the winter sowing method, is to help the seeds break their seed coating and burst into proper germination time. This is the common milkweed seeded yesterday. A different larkspur. This came with the Moon Garden packet. These will be seeded today. There's the pink cannas. Lettuce, peas. Oh, and calendula. Remembrance. And these you can direct sow even before the last frost. So I can just wait, like, my last frost is around mid-May, May 10th, May 15th. So I can sow these like mid-April outside and just let them grow through the last snap of cold before this summer comes. Now that's it. So, let me hear about yours. If you are a YouTuber who makes videos like this and you share your flower garden ideas, link them in the comments and I will watch your videos. If you have grown any of these before and have any advice or want to report, you know, did they do well for you or what you did with them? How did you use them in your garden? I'd love to hear that. Like, how are you using your marigolds and how are you using your tall plants and your vining plants? And if you are interested in a few of those seeds that I mentioned that I have extras of, zinnias, marigolds, the hot pack spry version of marigolds, the canna lilies, the red ones, the morning glories. I probably have some Sweet William to spare, so I have a lot of those, so I'd be happy to share some of those as well. If you're interested in any of those, just message me at Leah's Leaves, Leahs Leaves @gmail.com and let me know your name and address and I'll get these in the mail to you. Thanks for watching. You can see that it's kind of an ambitious plan because we're growing in 3 different spaces. The perimeter of my house, the far wall of the church's picnic shelter, and my mother's retirement property that's 7 miles down the road in the woods. So we needed seeds for sunshine. We needed seeds for shade. We needed seeds that are tall and middle and short. We needed seeds that are excellent, beneficial to a vegetable garden because I need to attract pollinators to benefit the other food that I'm growing in my garden. I needed color because everything around my house is just green most of the time, or brown as the case is now. So it'd be really nice to have splashes of color and visual interest. And also we're interested, some of these are annuals obviously, but we're really investing in perennials as well because they're low maintenance. You just plant them once. Take care of them that first year, get them established, and then they'll do the work for you. So this is ambitious this year, but you know, a year from now, it'll be half of this. And a year from now, Mom's property will have just about every flower or flowering plant that she needs. We'll put out some annuals each year, but it won't be much, you know. So it's just a good plan. Gonna keep us busy though. Anyway, I'd love to hear your flower stories. I'd love to see your flower videos. If you've done a flower seed haul, go ahead and link that in the description. If you have any questions about any of the varieties or any of the seed companies that I mentioned, go ahead and drop those in the comments. If you're still with me and you hung to the end, always remember, I'm learning a lot. I'm sharing it here. I hope you'll come and grow with me. Bye.